we I don't like the life. Hello, eh, me, I was
Thank you so much, Anand. I'm glad to be in this interview.
with maybe that in the world of music.
Oh, I'm glad. That's a good world to dive into. Thank you, Anand.
What makes music get I am if music has it muy melody and has meaning you and it your heart it may get with I am here with my favorite hero my I mean boy oh that I mean that I love
Thank you, Anand, for this good introduction. Thank you. I'm so glad to be in this interview. I'm honored.
that being from the beginning of your meeting, then when did you eat a healing?
So I started singing when I was as a child. When I think my first experience with singing was as a child when we gathered in Baha'i gatherings, and we used to chant prayers. It was a very natural thing for the Baha'is to have meetings and start their meetings with prayers. So at that time, people asked me to chant prayers, and when I chanted prayers, my parents thought that I have a good voice, and that's how my musical journey started. Um, so I would say my first experience with singing was when I chanted prayers in the gatherings that we had within the Baha'i community.
Who was your first meeting?
Um, my first inspiration, I think, in our home environment, my mom used to sing all the time. Some old classical songs, but pop and classical songs both. Um, and I always enjoyed. It became very natural to me to be in an environment where singing is a constant thing. So I think my mother was my first inspiration, I would say, and then later on, um, when I started taking singing lessons and became more serious about singing. I followed all the singing masters in Iran. Ustad Shajarian was for sure one of them, and among others. But Ustad Shajarian was one of the main inspirations when I started singing in a more professional way and more in a serious way.
Do you in only but yeah or do you in other of as well?
So when I am so sometimes in concerts or in public events, I only sing Persian classical songs. But of course, when I'm by myself, I listen to other kinds of music, and I sometimes some of them I like, and I started singing that to myself. Some maybe non-classical songs, like some pop songs. It all depends on the lyrics and all depends on what kind of a mood I am. So I do sing other kinds of music to myself, but as I said, in the public or concerts, I only perform classical, traditional Persian music.
Would you like in some life for no?
Yes, I would love to do that. Yes, in your show, in your interview, of course, I will sing a few lines. I try to not to take too long, but I maybe I just spend like 2 or 3 minutes singing something. So I'll sing now. So this is a song that I like from from old times. It's from Mr. Ustad Banan used to sing this, and then later on other musicians also perform this song. So this is something very dear to me. I always listen to. So I will share it with you too in here. مرا عاشقی شیدا فارغ از دنیا تو کردی تو کردی مرا عاقبت رسوا مست و بی پروا تو کردی تو کردی نداند کس جانا چه کردی چه ها کردی با ما چه کردی دو چشمم را دریا درفشان گوهر زار تو کردی روان از چشم ما گوهرها در تو کردی تو کردی.
I don't like the life.
Lots of people say that, Anand. Don't worry.
But I really love your melody and heart and voice.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for this. Thanks for liking my music. I hope that I can make some effect on people's mind and heart. I'm glad that you like my voice. That's a great thing to hear from you, Anand. Thank you.
Do you have you a
I do not have a YouTube channel, but I do have few songs on YouTube. I think if you search for Amir Parsa music, you will see some music by myself. But I don't have a channel. No.
how many concerts do you have every year?
Um, so because of so we don't have I don't have concerts every year. I mean it's I would say every 2 or 3 years or maybe 2 years. It depending on the situations. But so it's not that every year we have concerts. Uh, we get asked to perform in some events. The last time we performed was I think 6 or 7 months ago. There was an event, Asian cultural event in the Parliament Hill in Ottawa in Canada. So they asked us to come to the Parliament Hill and perform some music to promote Asian different countries in the Asia. So we presented Iran and we performed some music. So that was 6 months ago. So usually, as I said, every 2 years or depending on the events, but not for sure, not every year. We don't have concerts every year.
I know you are a in how much time do you in
Um, yes, actually, mm, I think the fact that I have other job doesn't prevent me from singing. Singing is, I mean, kind of natural to me. I mean, I mean, no matter what kind of job you have, you always have some spare time. So in my spare time, I I do sing to myself basically all the time, like whenever but these are not serious practices. I just do it naturally as I am. I think, as I said in the beginning of the interview, my mom used to do this when she was walking in the house. So she was singing all the time to herself. So I think I got that from her. I sing all the time to myself. But in terms of serious practice or rehearsals, whenever we have concerts, we usually get together for 2 or 3 or even 4 months or 5 months. Every week we practice but every week we practice like 2 or 3 hours. The last concert that we had to spend lots of hours to practice for the music. And now we have just started to rehearse, like to start our regular practices. We used to have weekly practices, but we stopped it during the COVID, and now we are trying to get back to it. So I would say in terms of serious practices, we practice every week for 3 or 4 hours every week.
what do you think about Indian music?
I love Indian music, especially the instrumental music. I think a few years ago, I think maybe like 10 years ago or more, when Ravi Shankar from India and his daughter were here for a concert. It was a very well attended concert. I think I think over 500 or 600 people came to this concert, and I enjoyed that very much. I don't know much about Indian music. All I know is that the rhythms are very very complicated and very interesting rhythms, and lots of Persian musicians. They're all very very influenced by Indian music. I mean, if you go to if you listen to the latest um, uh, publications in music in Iran, you will see lots of influence from Indian music. They use lots of tablas, for example, in their music, and lots of they get inspiration from the rhythms. Also, the rhythms, you can feel that the rhythms in the Persian music has has become a little bit different than old times, and I think these are all influenced by music from other places in the world, especially India. So yeah, I love Indian music, especially the instrumental part.
Mhm. Do you have any favorite Indian singer?
Unfortunately, no, I don't. I cannot name anybody. Um, I don't have anybody in my mind. But as I said, I enjoy the instrumental music more than the singing. Um, so Ravi Shankar is my best known Indian musician in general. But no, I don't have any singer in my mind.
Then you 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 usually what do in about your in
Um, this is an interesting question. Sometimes I like my recordings, and sometimes I really don't like my recordings. So it all depends. Um, Usually I don't. I Whenever we are doing some recordings, I listen to myself a lot just to make sure that things have gone correctly and there's no mistake in the recordings, and um, uh, there's no like false notes or anything like that in the music. But after we have made the music, I usually don't listen to myself very much. I don't like to listen to myself. I like to listen to other musicians. Um, yeah, so in general, to be very honest and frank with you, I don't like to listen to myself in general. I only listen to myself whenever we are making some music, or we're recording something, just to make sure things are going well. Otherwise, in my spare time, I never listen to myself. I just listen to other musicians.
do you think that many of like in
That's a good question. Actually, in yes, so in Persian classical traditional music, lots of singers were influenced by Ustad Shajarian. So they most of them try to sing like him. Um, so that was a, I think, common thing. But and also I'm not an expert in the pop music. I feel that this is more the case in the pop music. In the pop music, every singer seems like, when I listen to the pop music, I feel they all sound very very similar. I'm talking about Persian pop music. But in the traditional classical or traditional Persian music, that used to be the case, that everybody liked to sing like Shajarian. But I feel that trend is becoming less and less now. The new singers are trying to find their own identity and try to not imitate all the other singers. So I think it's true. Lots of singers, they did try to sing like Shajarian, but I think that trend is becoming less and less now.
do do you want to give any it will new year.
Um, my my tip to new singers will be, first of all, they have to love music in general and not singing only. I mean, it helps them to be familiar with music in, like, to love music in general. It's not just like singing has to, there's when you sing, when you want to become a singer, you have to understand the rhythms. You have to, um, even if you play some instrument that helps your singing. So my advice to them will be to listen to lots of music and to fall in love with music in general, not just singing. Like, just taking singing lessons, it doesn't it helps, but it's not the whole picture. You have to see that you're singing as a part of a music, and music is instrumental and it's rhythms and everything. So you have to just be very knowledgeable in music in general, not just singing.
What lot is
Yes, sure, of course. I will do one last song, and I'll try to make it not too long. غمت در نهان خانه دل نشیند بنازی چه لیلی به مهنه نشیند مرنجان دلم را که این مرغ وحشی ز بامی که برخاست مشکل نشیند جانم مشکل نشیند.
thank you so much for the interview and the video of the evolution.
Thank you so much, Anand, for having me in this interview. It was a pleasure to be this interview, and I'm glad that I participated in this. Thanks so much for having me in this interview.